What's good, gamers? Bloodoff941 here, back with another Destiny 2 weapon review video. In this one, we're going to be going over the returning and reissued Gridskipper pulse rifle. Before we get too deep into the video, if y'all could click like and hit subscribe as well, that'd be really cool. As of yesterday, I've been uploading for 1 year straight, twice a week. Tuesdays and Fridays at noon Eastern time, I'm pretty happy with myself, to be honest with you. Yeah, and I'd appreciate it if y'all would hang out and see where we go next year. So thanks. So, Gridskipper is a 540 RPM Void Rapid Fire Frame Pulse from the vintage Tomb of Elders loot pool. It was originally from Season of the Splicer. I remember really enjoying this weapon despite not really liking rapid pulses all that much. I think maybe the last one I used regularly was Peace of Mind, and that was like the first batch of craftable weapons, so man, that was a long time ago. Nothing specifically problematic about this frame for me. I just didn't feel the rapid craze that went through the PvP community back when Horror's Least was the pulse rifle. Like 140 hand cannons, there are quite a few rapid pulses in the game to compare against, so I grabbed others that sat in the energy slot. That way it's a more direct competition. Claws of the Wolf is an Iron Banner weapon that is also void. Darkest Before drops from Prophecy. Scalar Potential is no longer available, but it is from Season of the Wish and is craftable. And Oversoul Edict is the pulse from Crota's End. Of the five, Gridskipper is right in the middle pretty much everywhere. Whole lot of red on screen, so it's not the worst stat stick, and it's the easiest to acquire of the bunch as a solo player. I'm not kidding when I say this. I think the reason that I enjoyed this so much was the zoom. Both Peace of Mind and Gridskipper have a base of 18. Every other rapid pulse sits at 17. Now, yeah, they did uncouple zoom from performance, and there's a little bit of a concern that maybe that's not going to feel as well anymore, but the visual effect can shift the way you perceive a weapon anyway, so just worth mentioning. Let's get into the perks and see what we're working with under the hood. In Column 3, you've got Killing Wind, Lone Wolf, Repulsor Brace, Zen Moment, Perpetual Motion, and Demolitionist. Killing Wind is pretty good since this is a weapon with a very large mag size. Chaining is a lot more likely to occur, and it pairs well with multi-kill clip. Lone Wolf puts your aim assist at a 90 without being alone, and that's decent enough. But if you are alone, it jumps to 100, and damn if that's not insane. It's a great perk for this kind of weapon. It's easier to make work in 3s and 6s, obviously, but still, very good perk. Active at all times in the same way the moving target is. Repulsor Brace is for PvE. Zen Moment is an insane perk for pulse rifles, especially ones you're spamming the fire button on. Love this perk, use it all the time, hell yeah. It does have a downside, but we'll get to that later. Perpetual Motion is great for a small bump to the poor base stats, standard to rapid frame pulses that you really don't have to think about. Very good, never a complaint to have. And Demolitionist has fantastic utility and generates a bunch of energy for you. Very useful if that's your focus. Not gonna lie, it's hard to get a bad perk with no usage here. Repulsor is definitely your worst option, but it has synergy with Void Fragments and Destabilizing Rounds in 4, so there's something there if you can play weird. Personally, I'm thinking Zen is the best option. Unless you're running Headseeker, then run Lone Wolf, or Killing Wind for chaining. In Column 4, you've got Multi-Kill Clip, Frenzy, Destabilizing Rounds, Headseeker, Elemental Capacitor, and Desperate Measures. I talked about it when I talked about Killing Wind, but with the large mag size that rapid fire pulses have, multi-kill clip fits perfectly as a chaining option. Destabilizing Rounds, I talked about the synergy on that. Headseeker is a very good perk unless you are also running Zen in 3, and this is the downside I said we were going to talk about. It won't do enough since the between shot recoil on this frame isn't high enough to really walk the burst up the body. If you want to run Zen Moment, I don't think you should run Headseeker. But Headseeker is still good, and it's not like it won't have a benefit for you. That extra aim assist is nice, but I think that Headseeker is best on weapons with a lot more recoil between bursts. Elemental Capacitor is honestly fine. Boosted stats in your bar of choice, stability with Void, and ADS with Stasis. I know that Storm's Edge is super popular right now, so cranking your handling is an option. But with the Fantastic Origin trait, I really don't think you need it, so this one's personal, really. Void is probably your best option if you're running this, but I don't like the Void Super on Hunter, so Desperate Measures is chaining, but instead of kills with the gun, you want to weave in your abilities. I personally prefer multi-kill clip just because I like shooting my gun. Now this isn't as good as Column 3, but it's still quite nice. Headseeker or multi-kill clip are my picks here. The origin trait is fucking sick, dude. Splicer Surge doesn't even need kills to proc. Just reload after dealing a little damage, and you can get up to 45 handling and reload speed. It's insane how much higher this gun can push its stats with the smallest of investments. It's fucking cracked. I'm pairing it with my multi-mock from the review I made a few months ago, mainly since it's Iron Banner week and I didn't have good armor to get the 5-piece rep bonus. I wish I had an Imminence so I could do some darkness damage and build that Transcendence meter faster, but I haven't raided so that's not really possible. I'm hunting for a good Eurovit MG4 roll drop in the meantime. Just throw something good at close range in your kinetic slot and you'll be all good. Shotgun, SMG, sidearm, just anything that can really fight at that close range. Gridskipper is an extremely scrappy weapon. You can lane with it, but not against other better options. It's not going to outfight Graviton, LC's Bygones, or any of the other extremely prevalent pulse rifles when you're on their terms. But if you get the fuck in there a bit more and push up till they're a little uncomfortable, you're still probably gonna get killed because Crucible violence is a fucking joke, but it's at least more fun than sitting in the back of the map playing like a puss. We are in a pulse rifle meta. We've been in a pulse rifle meta for a very long time. Specifically a laning pulse rifle meta. High impacts, the 2-round bursts, and adaptives like Bygones that are just cracked. This is not on the same level as them, but if you can get the fuck in there, you can position really well, this will fight in a much more fun manner, and you will still be able to find success. I love the way this pulse fights. I love the way this pulse feels. The sight's a bit much to get used to at first since it's big and a literal block, and it's a little obstructive on the interior, but after you get past that, it's extremely fun to play with and quite effective as a killing machine. Plus, it takes shaders pretty well, so it looks good while doing it, and that's the most important part. I highly recommend you spend the time in Tomb of Elders to get yourself a good one now. But with that, that's going to be the end of the video for me. Is this a weapon that you guys have used and enjoyed? I bet you have, because it's a pretty popular one. But if not, like I said, I highly recommend you do so. Have you felt any success with it? Is there a certain perk combination that I'm sleeping on? I would love to hear about it in those comments down below. My cat would also like you to... She wants me to shut up, actually, but she would also like you to comment on my video. Because it helps engagement, so... Anyway. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sticking around with me on this year-long journey. Here's to the next one. Have a wonderful day.
Zone A captured. 2 zones are yours.